The Gospel of Gold by G.S. Lewis. She looked at him, and he returned attention, sensing that a lesson was forthcoming.
Hearts and minds can be changed, Gold, but your prowess as a Pokemon trainer would play little part in it. If you defeated all your enemies in combat, they might yield with grace, and they may even go on to respect your skill. Yet without truth and spirit, it would avail nothing against their principles.
Their path had brought them to another ice wall, another mirror, where the road curved sharply. But where Gold's reflection should have been, there was instead the familiar image of a brawny man.
Consider Bruno,
Spirit continued.
He was Karen's right-hand man who put all his trust in his own power and would have borne you away to the Indigo Plateau to a fate that even I cannot tell for certain. Instead, he ended up letting you go and refuses to pursue you further. Was it because Lance's Dragonite proved to be too great a challenge for his side?
Gold shook his head. Dragonite had barely gotten a bite at Apollo's hands before being utterly overwhelmed.
No,
said Spirit.
It is because you came to him with the truth in a bold yet humble spirit. You told him that you were not his enemy, that you had come as a fellow mourner. You reminded him of the secret knowledge he had long kept in his heart, but knew. True power is beyond any mortal. Yet regardless, his journey began in the noble pursuit of self-improvement. It touched him and caused him to see things in a new light. That is the effect of truth unsullied. It can do things that no army of Pokemon can. Indeed, it can turn armies.
Gold nodded, but another nagging question pressed him, one that had resurfaced at the word mourning. Bruno loved his Machamp like a brother, he said, looking down. And he wasn't evil, not really. Why did he have to die? Was there no other way it could have gone?
There was,
Spirit said.
There always is. You may wonder, if all this life is not random chance, but the design of a planner with eternity ever in mind, how could he fail to contrive a better way? Is this really the best that eternal wisdom could manage?
Gold ducked his head sheepishly. Spirit certainly had a way of articulating his jumbled, half-baked thoughts.
I'm sorry, Gold,
Spirit confessed, making him look up in surprise.
I cannot say.
Does she not know? Gold wondered. For a long moment, he was sorely tempted to press Spirit on the subject. Yet the moment passed, and he unconsciously let the matter go. Then, for just a fleeting instant, like a vapor on the wind, the answer was given to him. It was gone again before he even realized it had come, before the neurons in his brain could begin firing to map its meaning. All that remained with him was the impression that there was an answer, but that in his current, finite state, he could not hope to fully grasp it. He was a child, tugging at an impossibly heavy barbell, which Bruno himself could not budge. So, he let it go. The journey along Ice Path continued to twist and turn, sometimes requiring Gold to tread very carefully on the slippery ground, and sometimes forcing him to drop down through holes in the ground to the floor below, or ascend rickety ladders to the layer above. Now and again, he caught movements of wild Pokemon out of the corner of his eye, usually a flicker of webbed wings from the ceiling. There was no telling how far he had come after a while, nor how much further the path extended. Without Spirit, it would have been very hard going, yet not impossible, for there always proved another way to progress, another tunnel to continue journeying down. All the way, Spirit kept company with him, providing a hand when he slipped, warmth in the chill, light for the dark, security against wild Pokemon, and conversation that cheered his heart. At one point, the thought occurred to Gold, though he didn't dwell on it. This has got to be the most time I've ever spent with her at once. At least it feels that way. Thus, by the inevitable end of a cold and grueling path, Gold found himself wonderfully invigorated and better rested than many nights of sleep could have given. Just being with Spirit was food and drink to him. Any other traveler might have been relieved to ascend the final ladder and see the first faint rays of dawn stealing in through the cave's distant exit. Gold, however, felt a small twinge of disappointment as he looked upon the dim sunlight that marked the end of the tunnel. He knew his companion well enough by now to expect her imminent departure. It was for some important reason, no doubt. It always was, but he couldn't help himself. He did not want to part ways with a life-giver. Gold stopped walking. "What's out there?" he asked, pointing at the far mouth of the ice cave.
Blackthorn City,
Spirit answered.
More personally, your friend Marina, Alan, and Lance.
Gold felt the beginnings of a small knot in his stomach. And Claire and Apollo. He ran a hand down the side of his face, already feeling the pressure of the task ahead. "Spirit, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? March right up to Claire's gym and demand their surrender?"
I have not forgotten your fears and doubts,
said Spirit with gentle patience.
But do not scorn yourself for being a young vessel, Seed Planter. You have accomplished more than you realize.
I planted some seeds, yes, Gold argued, with significantly less patience. And helped a couple people save money on super potions. Mostly, I just ran around trying not to get killed.
A tree is not fruitful until it is fully grown,
Spirit persisted.
Time and growth you have gone through, all necessarily. You have witnessed much and experienced much, many secrets which would not have been revealed but for your journey. And now, the long-hidden whispers in the dark will be made known in the full light of day.
Now? Asked Gold, feeling his fingers tremble slightly. Spirit, He hung his head. I don't feel ready. You know I'm not ready.
I know,
she said, making him look up suddenly at the unexpected answer. You do? He asked, just to make sure he'd heard properly.
I told you once,
she said,
that I brought you into this task sooner than I would have wished. And now that burden mounts beyond what you can bear alone. But I shall be with you, even as I was through Ice Path. Yes, by your very side, continuing to lend strength.
She wasn't going away this time. Gold stood numbly, hardly able to believe his ears. The words came back to him now, words that were not his own, but ones that he had spoken to Bruno through another's will. Strength is not an end in itself. Becoming strong was the meaningful part. That's something you shared in with your Pokemon. You dreamt together, suffered together, endured together, never alone. I can do nothing alone, he thought, as his anxiety melted like ice before a flame. But life is meant to be shared in, and if shared with the giver of life, his heart burned within him. I can do all things. Nothing is impossible.